Right now on Hoosier News Source, a look into how safe our tap water is in Bloomington.
And voter fraud affects more than half of Indiana's counties.
All of this coming up. Hoosier News Source starts now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Laura Puglisi.
And I'm Sheila Riley. We begin tonight with a story about a safety of tap water here in Bloomington. Hoosier News Source's Anna Marie Marino breaks down the recent Monroe County water quality report and how you may be affected.
Nearly 80,000 Monroe County residents, including Bloomington students, rely on the water that comes from right here at Lake Monroe. Recent reports from the Monroe County Water Treatment Plant have shown a higher level of disinfectant byproducts contaminating the Bloomington water, raising questions from students and residents about how safe the everyday use of their tap water really is.
I would say in Bloomington, I definitely prefer bottles of water. I use a Brita filter at home myself.
Students say that they still prefer to use filters or buy packs of water bottles to be on the safe side. But I spoke with Rachel Atz and Vic Kelson from the Monroe County Utilities Plant to clear the air, showing that they are following the EPA standard.
We never exceeded the standard, and we monitor it closely. We started sampling every month. We used to sample once a quarter, but we're sampling every month, and we've been reporting the results in the paper. So there really isn't an issue there that people should be worried about in terms of their health.
The disinfectants are at a higher level, but as the weather cools down, it is necessary for filtering the lake water.
So when the water gets cold, all the chemical reactions that we depend on slow down. So you'll may in the wintertime we'll need to use more chlorine than we do in the treatment process, or maybe have the chlorine go in earlier in the process just so that we can get more contact time between the chlorine and the water.
Rachel and Vic both agree that sometimes water has a different look or taste, and if you'd like to use a filter to be on the safe side, you can buy one over the counter.
If someone's got a lead concern, they should call and they'll get Rachel on the phone, and Rachel will jump in. We'll come out and sample and let you know what we find.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Anna Marie Marino.
If you have any questions or concerns about the quality of your water, contact the Monroe County Utility Center at 812-349-3930.
A report in the statewide voter registration system finds thousands of birth dates and first names changed on Hoosier's voter registration forms. Indiana's Secretary of State Connie Lawson said she does not believe the statewide voter registration system was hacked and says the records were changed on paper forms and online. The Indiana State Police are now investigating a possible case of statewide voter fraud.
56 of the 92 counties in Indiana are currently under investigation by the state police for voter registration fraud. Thousands of Hoosier voters noticed their names and birth dates were changed on records submitted to the Indiana County voter registration offices. State police detectives obtained a search warrant for business offices of the Indiana Voter Registration Project, a subsidiary of Patriot Majority USA. The left-leaning PAC aimed at registering African Americans to vote collected about 45,000 registration applications, thousands of which were turned in fraudulent or forged.
The amount of effort behind this and the coordination, if it is determined that there is this massive fraud, it couldn't just be something that just happened. There has to be some organization behind it because they would have to have a lot of data.
2 days after the state police raided their offices, Patriot Majority USA asked the Justice Department to investigate the efforts by Indiana public officials to suppress voters. The president of Patriot Majority USA, Craig Verhoeven, accused Indiana Governor Mike Pence of using the state police to harass voters and of using the investigation as an excuse to suppress African American voters.
It would have to be a massive conspiracy among people from both parties for there to be actual voter fraud on a level that would in any way register in terms of impacting an election outcome.
Captain David R. Burston, Chief Public Information Officer for the state police, along with state officials including Governor Pence, have denied all allegations by Patriot Majority USA Group, stating that they condemn these attacks in the strongest possible terms and that the leadership of Patriot Majority should be ashamed of itself. Captain Burston of the Indiana State Police said he believes they've obtained reports that may serve as evidence of forgery by representatives associated with the Indiana Voter Registration Project.
There's not evidence of widespread fraud. This case is not going to lead to widespread fraud, and that we should really trust the election outcomes that we observe on November 8th.
Do not vote because you're worried your registration is messed up.
To check your registration status, visit indianavoters.com.
You're good to go.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Laura Puglisi.
If you notice that your registration information is incorrect, contact your local county voter registration office or your local county election board. If you show up to the polls the day of and find out you're not registered, you can still vote provisionally.
Last Wednesday, the Monroe County Youth Council hosted an information meeting regarding the upcoming presidential election. First-time voters gathered at Bloomington City Hall to learn what the voting process entails. Representatives from the Youth Council and League of Women Voters engaged participants in a discussion about the relationship between local and state governments, along with some of the roles of local offices. The meeting leaders encouraged all first-time voters unable to attend to reach out with any voting or election questions. This past Friday, the Bloomington police arrested 43-year-old Timothy Poteet on charges of child molestation and child exploitation. Poteet was the driver of Fairview Elementary's School Bus 44. Bloomington PD searched his home and found 2 computers, 6 phones, and 7 external hard drives. Some of these devices contained photos and videos that featured child pornography. The Monroe County Community School Corporation replaced Poteet and is now working with the Bloomington Police as they continue their investigation.
According to a press release from Mayor John Hamilton, Bloomington has the opportunity to make a citywide fiber internet connection possible. The internet connection will cover all of Bloomington and will offer gigabyte speeds to areas. This means residents can have a more reliable internet network connection that allows faster internet downloads. The mayor hopes that high-speed internet connection will make Bloomington more attractive to businesses and investors. Republican nominee for Monroe County Treasurer Ann Collins is gaining national and international attention for a local billboard. Her simple slogan reads, "I won't steal and I know how to count." It has since gone viral and has caught the attention of major news outlets. Collins says that the attention goes beyond the borders of the United States and that she is now being contacted by people in the UK and the Middle East. The phrase, "I won't steal," is referring to the ethics crisis here in Monroe County. She says that in the last 8 years, close to $1 million has been stolen from citizens.
The national attention obviously isn't going to help the Monroe County voters, but what I hope that does for the United States of America is, I think it's because I've lived in a foreign country, and other countries don't have this opportunity. We have a chance to say what we feel, and that's the beauty of America. We all have our own choices. But you're not going to have those choices if you don't get out and put your choice on a ballot.
Republican nominee Ann Collins will be running against Democratic Party nominee Jessica McClellan on November 8th.
Coming up on Hoosier News Source, find out just how much energy IU is consuming and how students are conserving it.
And a look into how your favorite IU sports teams performed over the weekend.
All that and more coming up. Stay with us.
And it's an honor to be here.
After suffering a season-ending injury in late March,
as you can see behind me.
Welcome back. The IU Energy Challenge is happening now in buildings across campus. Hoosier News Source's Lauren Becker set out to see just how much money is being spent annually at IU for all of their utilities.
Electricity, heat, and water. All three words everyone hears when paying for their utility bill. But imagine paying that bill for an entire university. IU pays over $34 million annually on their utility bill, and $22 million of that is spent on electricity.
You know, our electric use is what it is. The goal is to reduce our electric use per square foot on campus, per square foot of building.
60% of the carbon footprint here at IU is from electricity, and 30% of it is a result from heating the campus.
So between electricity and heating campus, that's 90% of the carbon footprint.
The Facility of Operations at IU hopes to see a 30% carbon footprint reduction by the year 2020. One of the initiatives on campus helping to reach this goal is the IU Energy Challenge.
A little bit of competition always is a good motivating factor for people, so I think any bit helps, and I think the Energy Challenge on such a big campus is a really beneficial thing.
Lauren is in a sorority here on campus and promotes the members in the house to conserve energy and water whenever they can.
From my perspective, it's encouraging my sisters to use less water, like cut down on shower times, you know, like use less air conditioning maybe when they're not in the house. So I just throw out like little tips like that.
The Facility of Operations sees a 20 to 25% drop in energy consumption in the specific buildings competing in the Energy Challenge. As the Energy Challenge continues, it is important to remember little conservation tips such as turning off lights, unplugging appliances, and turning off the water when brushing your teeth.
I feel pretty good about our progress and the impact that I've been able to have.
Buildings on campus will continue to take part in the Energy Challenge up until October 31st. For more conservation tips and how you can help decrease the carbon footprint, visit energychallenge.indiana.edu. October is in full swing here in Bloomington, bringing with it breast cancer awareness. Bloomington locals and IU students alike endured a chilly Saturday morning for a good cause. The 19th annual Bloomington Breast Cancer Walk started at City Hall with a ceremony that honored those whose lives are affected by the disease. Honorary chairman of the walk and Jacobs School, Professor Sylvia McNair, started the ceremony by sharing her story of overcoming breast cancer.
In 2006, I was diagnosed with stage 3B invasive ductal carcinoma, breast cancer. One doctor said to me, "Drop everything now and deal with this." And he said it in a tone of voice that I knew I did not have 1 minute to lose.
Survivors attending the event then proceeded to step up to the mic and share how long they've been cancer-free. For more information on how you can get involved in the next Bloomington Breast Cancer Walk, email btowncancerwalk@gmail.com.
Hoosier Hysteria tipped off this weekend, and some fans got to see some familiar faces as well as some new ones show off their talents. IUSTV sports reporter Jacques Roger was there.
If you didn't get there early, you had to wait outside of Simon Scott Assembly Hall in one of 4 long lines. Fans were encouraged to bring in canned goods, all of those donations going to benefit the Hoosier Hills Food Bank. Fans got to look at a lot of the new features inside of Assembly Hall, including the huge new video board. ESPN college basketball analyst Seth Greenberg talks about how special Indiana is, but anyone who is a fan of college basketball. So now it's time for the introduction, and Tyra Buss is the last one out of the locker room, but she's no less important to what the women are trying to do this season. She's on the three-point line winning the contest as she prepares to face the men, a contest she lost last year. The men's team takes center stage, pumping up the crowd with a couple of dance moves before their introduction. James Blackman Jr. getting one of the loudest cheers from the crowd. He missed most of last season with an injury, and fans are certainly excited to see what he can bring to this Hoosier squad. One surprise from the ceremony is that Tom Crean actually presented players and staff with their Big Ten championship rings. In the three-point contest for the men, Bryant shows off an improved stroke, but it can't get past Tyra Buss. Buss winning the overall three-point contest in Hoosier Hysteria. Now we turn to the dunk contest. Curtis Jones decided to take a risk, bringing out Tom Crean as a prop. But OG Anunoby says, anything you can do, I can do better. Between the legs and 180 degrees later, he is the dunk contest champion. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Jacques Rozier.
Fans left Hoosier Hysteria excited for the upcoming basketball season. In other sports news, IUS TV sports reporter Lydia Knoll joins us in studio with a summary of how IU athletics performed over the weekend. Lydia?
It was an eventful but tough weekend for Hoosier athletics. Starting on Friday, field hockey lost 1-0 to Ohio State, and our fourth-ranked men's soccer team came to a draw with Wisconsin. On Saturday, women's soccer also came to a draw against Purdue. Volleyball unfortunately suffered a loss to 22nd-ranked Illinois. But on a brighter note, IU men's swimming went the entire weekend undefeated in their tri-meet against Texas and Florida, while women's swimming lost to Texas but beat Florida. Meanwhile, football traveled to the Windy City to take on Northwestern. The team got off to a slow start, falling behind 24-3 at halftime. After blocking the Northwestern punt, the Hoosiers were able to start making a comeback, but it was too late. The game ended 24-14 Northwestern. Despite the loss, sophomore Nick Westbrook had his third 100-yard receiving game of the season. Next week, the Hoosiers will be back at home against Maryland. For more on your Indiana athletics, check out Hoosier Sports Night on iustv.com or IUS TV Sports on Facebook and Twitter. Back to you guys.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com.
And like us on social media. Like us on Facebook at IUS TV News and follow us on Twitter at Hoosier NW Source.
From all of us here at IUS TV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.